All right, everyone. Welcome back. We finally have a guest back on the show. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's been
First
forever.
guest since Hunter.
I know it's been a while. So Logan, thank you again for coming on. We'll be talking some basketball as we usually do when you're on the show. But you know, let's just get right into it because we got a lot to talk about, right? So, you know, if you're anyone's watching the video right now, we got two Rip City jerseys in. I'm repping my Lakers though. Uh, so basketball theme podcast right in the middle of the season, coming down the home stretch now. So me and Matt talked about some of these trades, Logan, but we didn't get to discuss that with you. So we'll kind of go over briefly some of the big trades that happened at the deadline, just kind of get your opinion, your take on those things, and then we'll get into some more recent news. So first of all, let's start off with the biggest one. So the Kevin Durant trade. Obviously, shocker there. Shook up the whole Western Conference. You know, going to a Phoenix Suns team that is already a really good squad. You know, made the finals 2 years ago. Um, I guess let's hear your reaction, Logan. What did you think of that trade when you first heard of it?
At first, I wasn't really that shocked because there was already a lot of buzz going around that Durant wanted to go specifically to the Suns, and I think he talked to management enough to make sure that it happened. And it, with the Suns' new owner, he was willing to put all of his picks into this deal just so that he could get Durant. But it's crazy how they also got T.J. Warren too. Like
That's an
that
underrated pick right there.
exactly. That should have been illegal to happen because he could give you 15 minutes, 15 points, 6 rebounds a night. And good for the Suns. Their season was shaky before he came. And I think that Durant puts a small band-aid on a lot of the flaws that they had all season. We'll see how it all plays out. He hasn't played a game yet for the Suns, but on March 1st, he'll be suiting up against the Hornets. Should be interesting. It'll be fun to
Yep,
watch.
yep, that'll be fun to watch. So yeah, I guess not too surprised about the KD one. The Lakers, right, made a couple big moves so far, and we'll get into this later, but it's panning out fairly well for them. Obviously they get D'Angelo Russell back, Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley at the deadline. I guess they've had some time now to play together, but what has been your initial reaction to that one?
I love that trade for the Blazers. They look so much better now that they can have some sort of fresh start and wipe the slate clean with Westbrook being gone. He's a vampire in the locker room, sucking out the blood.
What do you mean? It was all about having fun, right? Like you guys see that clip? It's like doesn't matter if we win
Yeah.
or lose, guys. Just have fun.
And LeBron gave him the death stare immediately.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I think Vanderbilt has been the biggest surprise out of that deal. He's been stellar. And I watched that last game where he just totally locked up Luca, just picked them up half court and got a lot of key steals to just lock the win for them for that amazing comeback. Good for the Lakers. They're 4-1 since the trade.
And we're gonna need guys like Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley to step up. But we'll get into some of the Laker talk. Just to wrap up the trades, though, any other trades? Not really big trades that were talked about. Maybe it's a Blazers one, or some other team that you thought was kind of an under the radar key signing.
Yeah. The Nuggets, they got Thomas Bryant by giving away Bones Highland in a 14 trade. I think that's huge for the Nuggets because they get a backup center to help relieve the Jokic bench minutes. And he was great on the Lakers. And now I think he'll just fit right in with the Nuggets roster.
Yeah. big signing there. I thought he was great for the Lakers, filling in when Anthony Davis was out. Obviously, it sounded like he wanted a bigger role, and I mean, he's backing up one of the best centers in the league, so uh, doesn't hurt going from out of the playoffs to a 1 seed, especially in the West. But yeah, that was a pretty big one. I agree with you. It probably should have been talked about a little bit more there, but I think it's time to get into some more current news. So Lakers, right? We'll start with them. Big, probably the biggest and most talked about franchise in the league, right? But we haven't had you on since I thought was your favorite player, and maybe we'll get into this later. I thought was your favorite player, the GOAT, King James, broke Kareem's record for the all-time scoring leader in the NBA. But take us through. I'm sure you're watching that game, right? Take us through
It
what you were
was.
feeling, as he is one of your favorite players. What was that like for you to get to watch that live?
It was an awesome moment to see happen. Yeah, I watched the game from start to finish. It was just a night of celebration, and it was dope to see every time he touched the ball, the crowd going crazy, everyone with their phones out, cheering for him after every bucket. It's something that it's a record broken that in such a fashion that we'll never see ever in our lifetime. LeBron's record will never be broken. I believe that, honestly. No one can keep up with his durability and the amount of games that he played from the start of his career till probably the end of his career. He will shatter Kareem's record.
I
And
think
it sucks that they lost, but I think LeBron was still happy with Knight.
yeah, it was too bad they lost, but I think I agree with you. Because I think I don't know if me and Matt talked about this, but will anyone ever break LeBron's record when he's all said and done? And the biggest concern I have is actually not players scoring enough because obviously, as we've seen this season, right? Like everyone is dropping 40, 50, 60 point games. Just scoring in the NBA is becoming, uh, I mean, really the driving force in their entertainment value. So I'm sure we'll keep seeing players scoring averages go up and up. But like you said, I think that durability part, um, I mean, knock on wood, but really has not had a significant injury where he's missed long periods of time throughout his career and averaging what 26 or 25 whatever he's averaged throughout his entire career. Like he's already at what 20 years, he's probably going to play he I mean it's really up to him how much more he
At
wants to
least
play.
5, I would say.
You think he's going to play? He can play at least 5. I don't know if he will want to. Maybe we'll have to see, but I think he could easily play at least 5 years. And if we're being honest, he still hasn't shown any signs of like real significant drop off in his level of play. Obviously, he's not the same athletic, um, player that he was in Cleveland or Miami, but I mean, he's still this is one of his better scoring seasons of his whole career this year, and yeah, I think I have to agree with Logan there. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can beat 20 plus years of averaging, 25 points a game ever again, especially with how the load management stuff is going now, right? Yeah, players getting injured and all that other stuff. So, yeah, I, I think LeBron is going to be pretty safe for a long, long time.
So
Um,
Logan, you think anyone in the current NBA has any like outside shot? Like who do you think would have the closest shot to getting to LeBron?
Gotta be Kevin Durant, I think. When it's all said and done, he'll for sure crack the top 10 all time leaderboard. And if he can stay healthy,
that's the thing, though,
there's a
KD.
long shot.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, I think that's the key. I mean, he's missed, you know, at least over the past several years, some pretty significant time with injuries. We'll have to see. I think it's if anyone is gonna have a chance, it's gonna be one of these young guys coming in and like like Anthony Edwards kind of guys where they're gonna play all the time. Even Luca, maybe, right? Like with the volume that he has. But do I see Luca, 20 plus years in the league with how, I mean, he looks, right? Like physically on the court. I don't know. It might be a little tough for him
I
to
think he said
sustain
he's not
that.
going to play 20 years. He
Yeah,
already said that.
that's a long time for guys to be playing. I think it's gonna have to be, one of these young guys that comes in. I think it's gonna have to be a guard because they're gonna have to take a lot of threes and be a good shooter and an efficient scorer, but also be able to play for a long time. I think we see guards tend to last a little bit longer than the big guys. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. I truly don't think anyone has a shot in today's game. It's gonna have to be some kid that's like 5 years old right now, maybe, and he learns to shoot threes his whole life. Um, so that's just what I got. But yeah, moving on from LeBron, I want to get into some like how the Lakers are looking now because you know I've said he LeBron hasn't had a major injury, but now he sustained pretty bad foot injury last night. It's not going to keep him out forever, but right now I think the diagnosis they're giving it is about 2 weeks. But 2 weeks after the All Star break might as well be the rest of the season, right? I mean, it's gonna be tough now for the Lakers. Um, I don't know, Logan. I just want to get your take. What do you think? Can the Lakers maybe just stay in the hunt? Sneak into the play-in game without LeBron for the next 2 weeks? I mean, I don't know how many games they have, but I I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. I think we're really going to need Anthony Davis to step up, but I'm just curious what if you think, the Lakers have a shot without LeBron.
I think the Lakers definitely have a shot, and they will make it into the playoffs this season. Because right now they only have 21 games left in the season, and they have the fifth easiest schedule for the last remaining games. And with the roster that they got, I think they're still able to win those easy games ahead of them. And they're only they're only like a few games behind from the fourth
Yeah,
seed. They're 3.5 games
they're
behind.
3.5 games from the 4 seed, but they're not even in the play. And like that's still,
Exactly.
I still can't believe how close the West has remained throughout the whole year. I thought eventually it would, like see some separation, but yeah, only
Mm.
uh like you said, 3.5 games from the 4 seed. So it's still anyone's game.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. I think it's gonna come down to a lot of Anthony Davis on the offensive end. And honestly, this might be I was thinking about this earlier. Like this might be the final test for AD. If I'm Rob Pelinka, at least moving forward, right? So you invest all this into AD. Obviously, we get the ring in the bubble, but now we're looking to see if we want to keep him around long term. This is kind of the time to say like, all right, AD, we don't have LeBron. You were a one in New Orleans. Like, where have you been consistently throughout the past couple of years? So I think this is time for AD to prove that he is that dude and gonna need to see some 40 plus point games over the next couple weeks. But I think that is gonna be the key because we still don't have D'Angelo Russell back. Um, and hopefully, I'm hoping Jared Vanderbilt really thrives in like a higher usage role because, yeah, like you said, I like what I've seen from him so far. Um,
I think I gotta say something about that. So I think AD for the Lakers, it's almost expected for him, right? to perform well. You expect him to score 30 and 15 every game now. So I think the key for the Lakers is D'Angelo Russell. He's kind of that next man up,
Well, he's not back
right?
yet, though, right?
Well, when he comes back, I
Okay.
think he
Yeah.
was doubtful for the last game or even tomorrow against the Grizzlies, but he should be coming back pretty soon. So he needs to be the number two now, and he needs to step up and give you 20 and 8 consistently a night. So I think that's going to be the key for the Lakers. If he can step up and kind of hold the fort down, I think the other role players have kind of found a rhythm. You know, Malik Beasley, obviously Jared Vanderbilt, even Rui Hachimura. So I think D'Angelo Russell is a key piece for the Lakers right now. And hey, that's a tryout for him too, because he's a free agent next year. So maybe he's playing for a contract these last 20 games.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who steps up to be that kind of number two option. Should be D'Angelo Russell, but um, I guess even like looking at the third option, any one of these guys is capable, and that's probably the most frustrating thing. Like when I watch the Lakers play, like any one of these guys they have, like even on their bench, Rui, Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves has gone off, for high scoring nights. Malik Beasley is capable, um, and Lonnie Walker, as we saw early in the season, like all these guys are capable of scoring on any given night. It's just the inconsistency that I'm just kind of like, man, okay, who is it gonna is anyone gonna step up tonight? Okay, no one steps up tonight. And then it's like all of a sudden, okay, now everyone's shooting well tonight. Yeah. Um, I don't know. It would be nice to see one guy solidify themselves, but uh maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know. All right, well, yeah, Lakers. Well, since I'm outnumbered here 2-1 in Blazers to Lakers jersey, I guess we should move on to what is now the like favorite team of this pod somehow. Um, I thought when Logan was
Yep.
coming
It's
on,
our home
I'd still
team.
be. I mean, I know, but I thought Logan, right? You know, the biggest King James fan that I know. At least I thought, but I don't know, Logan. Did you? I saw a recent post from you saying you have a new favorite player. What's going on now?
I think Dame has to be my favorite player of all time,
All
Over
especially
time.
D Wade. Over D
over D
Wade.
Wade. He has overtaken
Wow.
D Wade, which is something I did not think would happen. But D Wade could not score like Lillard has been over
Okay.
these over these past few seasons. He's third in all-time 60-point games, right behind Kobe and Wilt. And
Yeah, it's an impressive list. If those are the only two guys on
exactly.
the other list, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, like let's get into the Blazers. Obviously, Dame has been on fire since the start of the new year, pretty much. Um, I don't know what's been. I mean, as a team, they've been pretty inconsistent still. So let's focus. I guess I want to focus on Dame first, since he had that big 71 point explosion last night. Um, I mean, other than really, I think he solidified himself now as kind of the second best guard, or maybe scoring guard, if you want to say, in the league. Like I would still take Dame over Luca, over Kyrie. It's still hard to say like with Steph, because Steph is just the best shooter ever, right? So he'll always have that going for him. But I don't. Yeah, what Dame has done consistently throughout his career, and he's playing better than he ever has offensively, trying to carry this Blazer team into the playoffs. I mean, he already had my respect. I don't know what else I can say about him at this point. You know, yeah. So I guess with that, right? Why why do you think the Blazers have still been struggling, Logan? You watch a lot of their games, followed Dame. It's obviously not his fault, right? So what is going on? Is it the coaching, you think? Is it guys not stepping up? Are we still trying to, guys still trying to get used to their role after all the trades that happened? Front office didn't make the right moves. What do you think?
It's a mixture of the struggle being in a small market team, not being able to get key free agents to come to the team and sign. but it's also the main issue is their health, and Anthony Simons has been out for a bunch of games this season. Also, Jeremy Grant missed a couple of games, but also the the biggest eyesore on the team, Yusuf Nurkic. He's not been able to step up ever since their playoff run in 2018. I just really wish that Blazers just moved away from him and just got a new center, start fresh. He he's nice to have a team when he's healthy, but he is way past his prime, and his peak was in 2018 before he got injured.
Matt, do you
Logan,
want
that
to
was
say anything?
beautiful right there. That I
Yeah,
just gotta say it. That was the gospel right there. That was excellent. Excellent words right there.
thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Matt, did you want to chime in on that at all? But uh, yeah, he hasn't.
Logan took all the words out of my mouth right there. I don't need to say anything else.
Yeah, he hasn't
Nurkic,
played for a while,
yeah,
I think, right?
yeah, he cannot be the starting center for a championship level team.
Uh, I guess, are you surprised then that the Blazers didn't go and get someone else to kind of, or you think they're happy? Who's even starting? Is it Eubanks that starts now?
Yep,
So, I mean, I
thanks.
think he's been pretty
He's
nice
been
filling
solid,
in, but
honestly. Defensively, he gets a lot of blocks, gets good rebounds, just doesn't have the post moves to score. But he's young.
yeah. So, I guess taking a look at the Blazers' remaining schedule, I think their schedule just like at a glance, they still got some tough teams. They still got double headers, Sacramento, um, they got to still, Golden State and a lot of the tough East teams on this East road trip I'm looking at. Boston, Philadelphia, they got New York and Boston, 4 out of 5 games in a row. That's a tough stretch. Probably going to be a key stretch for them. I don't know. I'm a little nervous because Blazers are my second favorite team, right? They're my home quote unquote home team, right? So obviously I was like to see them in the playoffs, but I'm just taking a look at this, remaining schedule that they got coming up. It's going to be a little tight. I think they're going to need some help from another one of the teams in that 7 to 10, even 7 to 4 range to fall out. Um, I don't know. What do you think, Logan? You got faith that Blazers will be in the play in at least?
As long as Dame is playing, I always have faith. There's
Okay.
always a big chance for them to make the playoffs. But just like you said, their schedule ahead of them is really tough. They're actually 10th. They have the 10th hardest schedule for the rest of the season. And as you said, they got to play Celtics twice, the Kings twice, Clippers twice. Also got the Sixers and Grizzlies still ahead in the next 20 games that they have left. And those are not going to be easy at all. But if Dame can score 40 points a night,
He might
then
have to. He really might have to.
we'll be in the playoffs.
Okay, I like that. Uh, Dame 40 plus.
No pressure, Dame. You
No
just gotta score
pressure.
40.
Yep,
That's half. That's like,
That's like what he scored in the first half
yeah.
yesterday.
exactly. He did
That's
that with
easy,
ease.
easy money for
Yeah.
Dame. All right.
Mhm.
Um, I guess yeah. So, uh, if we want to talk playoffs now, and since we're getting to that time of the year, I don't know. It's getting real tight in the West. Like we said, 3.5 games separate the 4 seed to basically the 12 seed. You can even say 4 games from the 4 seed to the 13 seed. So 9, 10 teams within 4 games of each other, 21 plus games to go. It's gonna be tough. So I'll just read off the teams right now, 4 through 13. And I want you guys to tell me which 3 teams, okay, you think will not be in the playoffs. I think we'll go with that first. So we'll start off in the West, right? So from 4 to 13, we have the Phoenix Suns, we got the Clippers, Mavericks, Warriors, Jazz, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Blazers, Lakers, Thunder. So it's in, all these teams have been pretty close the whole year. Logan, I guess since you're a guest, we'll give you first pick. So out of those teams that are listed, which three are not even gonna make the play-ins, do you think?
Not going to make the play-in
Yeah.
or the playoffs.
At least not even like the play-in tournament.
The teams that are not going to make the play-in is the Utah Jazz, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Those are my main two that I don't think they have enough time to get their shit together, and there's not really a big reason for Utah to be in the playoffs anyway. Timberwolves, they still got Rudy Gobert out, and they haven't shown any consistency throughout this whole season. And you want to pick another team not
Yeah,
making the
because
playoffs?
I guess there's still one more
Oh,
team that like because it's 1 through 10, right?
right,
That get in.
right.
So
It's it's tough. It's like the Blazers are on the cusp of that.
you don't think I was gonna
He's
say I'll
trying
say
so
the
hard
I'm
not to
so
say
I
the
hard
don't
not
want
to
to
say
say
Blazers.
the
the Blazers.
Trailblazers. I
Not
don't
you
want to
think
say the
so you
Blazers.
think the Thunder are gonna make it? Because I'm saying the Thunder at like 4 through 13 right now.
Hmm.
You think the Thunder have a chance to sneak in?
I think that the Thunder does have a chance to sneak in.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
That's
a
interesting.
surprise.
Okay, well, we can give you some time to think about that. Matt,
Hmm.
do you have three teams right now that you're kind of thinking are gonna be heartbroken and miss the playoff play in by like half a game or a tiebreaker or something like that?
I do. So I got one with Logan. I think the T-Wolves slip. I think if Zion can somehow come back, they'll be a force. And I think Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum is good enough to get you at least to the play-in. So I think the Timberwolves slip, especially with Cat out too. So no D'Angelo traded, no Cat, no Gobert. That's already, a bulk of their team. So I think they slip. I think the Thunder will stay out of the picture currently. So I think they're the second team. And honestly, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say the Blazers as the third
Wow.
team. I just think it's Dame or nothing. And are we really gonna expect him to score 40 points every single game for us to even have a chance to win?
He might do it.
That's a really hard ask. If he does, we should just say he should win the MVP, but
Mm.
that's that's just a really tough task for Dame. And no Nurkic, no Anthony Simons. It's a tough ass. So I think the Blazers will be out of the picture, unfortunately.
Bad.
Yeah. Well, I guess my three are pretty similar to both of yours. I actually kind of agreed with Logan with the Jazz and the Timberwolves. Um, I think the Jazz, it's been a nice story so far, but I think as we come into the later stretch of the season, you know, they're kind of gonna fall apart a little bit. And Timberwolves kind of the same with injuries. And they still don't have like a leader to me. And I think until they have like one guy that kind of takes control. And next year, I think it could be Anthony Edwards because every time like he has an interview, he impresses me like more and more, honestly. So I think he could become that alpha next year. Might be a little bit too late this year. So I have them out. And my last two is honestly between the Pelicans and the Thunder. Because the Pelicans have been like just on a complete slide ever since Zion went down. And I don't know if they can sustain that. But I think the Thunder, um, I think they're gonna be the third team though for me to not make it in. Just because I mean I love Shea, but I don't know. There's something like they're just a little bit too young for me right now. Um, Not used to playing that full NBA season, a lot of them. So that's gonna be my three making it out. So I got the Lakers and the Blazers making the play-in tournament, which is, I hope happens, but I really can't see it as long as both teams kind of take care of business here. Um, so that's who I got. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a fun stretch here to follow for sure. Um, yeah, okay. Well, since we're talking about playoffs, Logan, I know you wanted to give us your finals prediction, right?
Yes.
So me and Matt, we both gave ours last week. I believe I said mine was the Suns and the Bucks rematch. Matt had the Bucks and who's your
The
West
Warriors
still the Warriors, right?
with a healthy Steph Curry.
Right. Still okay. So with the healthy Steph Curry, so those were our two, Logan. What did you have in mind?
I agree with you guys for the Bucks to come out of the East, but for the West, the Denver Nuggets will make it
Okay.
out of the
I,
West.
I
So
I
the
respect
both the
that.
one seeds. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about time we see Jokic get some help. Um
Exactly.
so I'm just curious, Logan. Obviously we know Giannis and the Bucks have won 14 straight right now, so they're the hottest team in the league. Um, I'm curious though why. I mean, obviously, Denver is always traditionally a good regular season team. They have been the past several years. What do you think it is about this team this year that gives you the confidence to say they're getting all the way to the finals? It probably the toughest conference we've seen in a long time.
What stands out to me is everyone's healthy now, and they also added some key players this offseason, like Bruce Brown has been a great fit for the team. He's like a guard, but he plays like a center almost. He's just a big bully ball type player, and he gets you a bunch of rebounds, assists, and points. And he has a great 3-point shot. And what stands out to me is that Aaron Gordon also has been playing like an all-star this season, and he stepped up in a big way. And Jamal Murray has been pretty good coming off his injury as well. And Jokic just seems to it seems like he took his game to another level this season. Like everyone's getting tired of naming him the MVP, but he just always seems to make the right plays at the right time, and he does whatever it takes to win. Like he has a career year in triple doubles, and the Nuggets are 23-0 when Jokic scores or records a triple double,
Yeah, that's
which is
insane.
insane.
That's
That's
insane.
that's not stat padding numbers. That's actual meaningful stats.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard that. I was listening to JJ Redick today.
Me too.
Yeah, I heard him say that. I was like, oh my god, there's no way. So then when I looked it up, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, it's gotta be a Jokic MVP or bust, right? I mean, I don't know. At least this year, who, who can really catch him? I mean, Giannis maybe. I guess.
I
Uh,
think Embiid maybe has an
Embiid
outside
has a
shot.
chance, right? I really think like maybe we'll get into this discussion now, since Logan gave us his predictions. But so when we talk MVP, everyone's you know, um, definition is a little bit different. Does your team have to be good, or is it you're just the best player in the league, right? Um, so like in Dame's case, right? I think no one can argue that he's been the best guard, um, the past whatever 20 games plus, right? He's kind of been the guy. I mean, 71 points is no joke, but they're not even in the play-in tournament right now, the Blazers, right? And if they don't even make the play-in, I think as good as his numbers are, it's almost too hard. It's impossible to give him the MVP, right? When his team isn't winning. Um, but Jokic, on the other hand, I think people are getting a little tired, like you said, Logan, of him. I mean, it's what, two times in a row. They wouldn't even give that to Braun. Like even Braun wasn't winning MVP all those years when he probably could have easily been winning all those years, right? Um, but like you said, that stat to me is just so insane. 23-0 when he records a triple double. Um, I think it for me it's got to be Jokic. I'll just give two main reasons. Uh, One, I think Denver is the best team in the West right now. and then 2, he's the best player on that team. I think that's all that kind of needs to be said. Because without Jokic, like as good as Jamal Murray is, that offense runs through Jokic, right? Like you said, Logan, he always makes the right basketball play at the right time. So I think it's gonna be a three-peat for the Joker. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Gotta be Jokic again.
Yep. I don't think
As long as he
anyone
stays
will come
healthy.
close to taking that award from him.
So you think if he doesn't get it, it's a robbery?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
will be.
think so too. All right. Well, I want to get to one quick hitter here because I kind of glanced over it. But right now, um, since we're talking about Dame, we got a couple minutes to spare. So the Steph versus Dame debate now, I think it's closer right now at this moment than it's ever been because Steph isn't playing and Dame is on an all-time heater right now. And I don't know if you can say whatever reasonings you want, but at this point in their careers right now, uh, winner take all game 7, say these two guys play in the playoffs. Who are you taking? Who do you want on your squad? Dame or Steph?
I unfortunately would have to pick Steph.
Oh, you're still picking Steph
What?
Still
Really?
after
pick
he
Steph.
chose you
Wow.
favorite player. Okay, why Steph?
Yeah, bias aside, Steph still is the better player. And he's proven that through his resume, all of his championships, and even the numbers. Steph has been a better 3-point shooter, efficiency wise than Dame, and it's unfortunate that Dame will forever have to live in Steph's shadow for his career.
Yeah, but I think when it's all said and done, when people look back, Dame is gonna go down as one of the all-time great point guards ever. But Matt, what about you? You got Dame or Steph?
In a winner take all,
Winner
give me
take all.
Dame. Give me Dame Dollar. Give me Dame Dollar. Because it's not about a season. I think Steph, you could say, is the more complete player in terms of accolades. Can't really dispute that. But just something about Dame and his ability to close
Yeah,
to me.
he's a
He's a
closer.
closer.
It's like
That's what you want.
Mariano
Is
coming out there in the
Yep.
ninth.
He's Mr. Big Shot, honestly. He's gonna hit the big shot in crunch time. And in a game 7, that's what I want. Steph, in fairness, I haven't seen it that much, but Dame has done it on the big stage. So give me Dame Dollar in a game 7.
I would take Dame too in one game. I'd take Dame.
One game,
I
yeah.
would
This
ride
is
with my
one
boy.
game.
I would take Dame. Uh, but okay. Yeah, I mean that was fun. We had a lot of basketball talk. Logan, we will look forward to having you back on, especially when playoffs come rolling around.
for sure.
Hopefully we got some Lakers and Blazers to discuss. If not, it'll always be nice to have you on. But I think we're gonna call it on this segment or on this part of the pod. Well, I guess this is the end of the pod, huh, Matt? Right?
Nah,
Uh,
this is part 1.
this will be part 1. Okay, so this is part 1. Yeah. Well, thanks, Logan. Appreciate you coming on. We'll catch you later. And yeah, it was fun.
That was really fun. Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime. All right, Matt. So just finish up our convo with Logan, but as usual, gotta get to the Hawaii basketball. I know it was an important weekend, and I did finally go to the UH game. Greg
You
made it out to.
to the last week of the season.
Hey, I made it out. I said I was gonna go, and I went this year. Halftime show could have been better. The game I went to, it was kind of long, dragged out, and
We should have
got
entered.
got a little hard to watch there. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, let's talk about the actual games. So, the most important 2-game stretch of the season, probably up until this point, came out 1-1. Would have loved that 2-0 stretch, right? But since I went to the first game, let's talk about that first game, right? And kind of typical Hawaii this year. It's been a tale of two halves. Um, I was feeling really good. We had that 10-point lead at the half, right? But unfortunately couldn't execute down the stretch once again and ended up losing to Riverside. So, I mean, really, I think we just got to talk about the second half and really the, final possessions of that game. And first of all, let's start with how Riverside was able to come back. And, I have talked highly about, Javon throughout the year, right? He's been much improved, I think, offensively, running the offense this year. And, he's been pretty much the most clutch guy on our team in late game scenarios throughout the course of the year. But I will say that bigger guards can abuse him defensively. And we definitely saw that in that Riverside game. They just ended up calling what ISOs pretty much. What was the shoot? What was that guy's name?
Zion Pullen. He's been
Yeah.
in college, it seems, for like 10 years at this point.
So
But he is their man, I will say.
he's the guy. And they just pretty much figured out like, hey, you know what? Let's just go one on one. Not very college basketball esque, right? You don't really see that too much. But they said, hey, the rest of this offense isn't working. I'm gonna put the ball in your hands. And I mean, to Javon's credit, he did the best he did, but he's like 5'10, guarding a dude that's looked like 6'6" next to him. I don't think he's actually 6'6", but I mean that height difference, right? He just got to his spot on the elbow like 3 or 4 times, made the easy jumper, hit a three in Javon's face too, and I'm watching all this unfold, and after 2 or 3 times, so I went with my brother and then my friend Brandon, right? And so I'm like talking to them. I'm like, can we have someone switch like as the on-ball defender? Because I know exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna come down, run ISO again, and oh shocker, he makes the bucket over Javon. Is it Javon's fault? He's 5'10"? No, but can we do something so that the 5'10" guy can, be guard someone else? And I just couldn't understand why we weren't switching at all. Even on the pick and rolls, we weren't switching. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, we're just letting this guy feast on Javon. And so that was like one thing. I'm already like, what are we doing? And then, let's run down that unfortunate sequence of events, right? Um, so I believe, let me pull up this play by play because I want to get this right. So come down, right? It's a close game. Where is it? All right, so it's a close game. So we end up, going back and forth here and there, but we end up down one, right? So we're down one. It's 53-52, right? And we get a big stop on defense, and we have the ball with about a minute to go. Or sorry, so we get a
About
stop.
30 seconds, right?
30 seconds.
After the block.
30 seconds, yeah. So Noel Coleman had a huge block. They finally switched Coleman onto him. Oh my god! And what happened? We got a stop. Amazing.
Not even a stop. You got a block.
He got a block. Yeah, he got a block, right? Who would have thought, right? So you switch a little bit taller of a defender on him, gave him trouble. Huh, there's an idea. So that's out of the way, right? Um then I have a little problem here with this timeout play that we decided to run up. So I don't know how much of the play was actually the play or what ended up just it everything broke down and we had to scramble. But it wasn't a very good play out of a timeout. Looked very chaotic. Um, Ended with a forced Kamaka Hepa three that did not look good, right? And yeah, I after I saw that, they got the ball back. We had to foul with 8 seconds to go. I'm thinking, okay, well, I think we're cooked. But you never know college basketball. 8 seconds is a long time. They needed to make two to even make it a 3-point game, right? Um, so the guy makes the first free throw, misses the second one. We have no timeouts at this point. So give the ball to Jovan, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's gonna happen again,
A
right?
McClanahan miracle again,
McClanahan
round
miracle
two.
again, round two. 8 seconds left, so he's taking it in transition, and this is the part where I think I don't want to say the moment got to him a little bit, but didn't look for, I would say, the right basketball play in that situation. Took the ball knowing he needed to score quickly, but just took a really forced layup. I think he tried to draw a foul, got blocked, right, Matt? And now I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, we have a chance for a catch and shoot, right? Maybe I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's Jovan or Coleman coming off the ball. Those are the two guys I would probably want, unless we get maybe Kamaka wide open somehow under the basket or some De Silva. I think there's a lot of ways we could have went with the final play, right? But we decide to just throw a little quick inbound to Kamaka. They foul him right away, and then he misses the first free throw, and the game's over. Yeah, just like a really
Just a
tragic way to lose. I just thought, the late game execution just was not what it needed to be, really. We need, I think we're this late into the season and we're still looking for a key guy, because everyone can be the guy, right? But it's almost like when everyone can be the guy, no one's the guy, right? Like when you have three quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback, like the NFL, right? Noel Coleman has had an off year, but we know he's capable of hitting a big shot. Javon McClanahan, who we've seen, show up the most throughout the game late in the year, but he's not always the go-to guy. Samuta Avea, a little bit of a dark horse, but he's capable, right, of making a big shot or that, doing
He's very
something good.
inconsistent though.
Probably the most
Way too
inconsistent guy.
inconsistent.
And the second half of the season, Kamaka Heplo, who has been probably one of our better scorers, probably the best scorer we've had the past 5 or 6 games. But it seemed to me there wasn't, like, the not couldn't decide which way he wanted to go. Um, that loss stung because Irvine ended up losing that night too, right? So we could have been in second place outright, I believe, after that one. And yeah, that
He
loss
would have been
hurt.
in second place playing for first on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And so that was just a tough game. I was just so frustrated because it was a game we let just slip out of our fingers. And I really hope that because it's really the offense, for the most part, I think our defense is pretty good. We don't really allow easy buckets inside, make 3-pointer, like 3-point shooters have to work for their shot. And it's just so frustrating because I know this offense can flow and we can have a good rhythm, but it's a lot of it looks like too many guys standing around. To me,
Exactly.
it's not a well-oiled machine. It's a lot of good individual guys, but I still want to see this offense clicking where all 5 guys on the floor are involved, moving around. Like I said, all these guys are great, but um there just doesn't seem to be this synergy that has taken place on offense. And that's kind of my only concern as we get into tournament play, because if we go cold, I feel like the best way to break out of a cold stretch is, you can call it plays, get easy layups, easy shots like that, and we just don't get a lot of easy shots, right?
They don't.
That's kind of my concern. So that was that game, Matt. Why don't you run us down that Irvine game, senior night?
Well, a lot better, you could say, but Hawaii ends up pulling out a gutsy win, 72-67 against, at the time, first place UC Irvine. So kind of a tale of two games in this one. So, the game that you went to, Javon, pretty rough game for the most part, but I don't know. Maybe Javon just loves playing on ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
but he had, you could probably say, the best game of the year, honestly. 27 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 10 of 11 from the line,
Huge.
2 turnovers with 7 assists. So that'll work to me. So he was in attack mode, and he was getting to, it was almost like watching Zion Pullen for Riverside on Thursday. Javon was getting to his mid-range pull-up jumper. He hit about 4 or 5
That's
in a
his best
row in the
shot.
first half.
That's
Yeah,
his
that's
best
his
shot.
go-to shot. And I give him credit. I don't know how guys don't block it, but they can't stop it. And he always gets to his spot. He's, for the most part, a very aggressive guard this year in terms of trying to attack the basket. So I like that mindset. And, with the guy feeling it like that, I had no problem with him, trying to take over the game. But to me, we won this game because of the role players. So before the game started, it was announced that Bernardo da Silva was out due to an injury that he sustained in the last game against Riverside. So we're already down our starting center, and Morsek steps into the starting lineup, and he had his breakout game of the year, a double double, 14 and 16. Dude was outstanding on the glass, altering shots at 4 blocks in the game. And a nice to see also was Harry Ruliadev. With Bernardo out, obviously you're one big short, and Ruliadev is the next guy up in the rotation. He had 11 minutes in the game, but 10 points. That'll work. He was 2 for 2 from the field, made his three. But what I really liked about Harry is he's a freshman. He hasn't really grown into, his body yet. He's still trying to figure that out. But I liked that he was aggressive and he was attacking down low, trying to get up his shot in the paint, which to me, if you're a big, I stress this all the time at HEPA, you got to have an inside game if you're a big. And Harry was attacking inside, drawing fouls, and 5 of 7 from the line. I'll take that. I'll take that, honestly. So the bigs really stepped up in this game, and that was huge, I think, for us. And you could really see, you just go down the box score. Morsek had 14, Samuta had 10, Kamaka had 5, kind of quiet game, but Harry had 10. So to go along with Jovan, I think that was key for us. So a much better game. We were down in the first half and then ended up coming back in the second half. So kind of a tale of two games, you could say. But kind of this theme of UH, right? They just can't seem to play two complete halves of basketball to me, right? This game was more about that second half. They were down in the first half, and give them credit, they fought back. They were down 9 at one point in the second half, clawed their way back, with Harry, Jovan, and then eventually Avea had the go-ahead three, and then we didn't give up the lead from there. So give them credit, but I still need to see this team play a complete game of basketball. And with 2 games left in the regular season, it's now or never, because with that loss to Riverside, we would have been sitting in a tie for first with 2 games left. That's pretty good. You're in a position to control yourself, but now you're in the 5th spot. Yeah, you're 1 game back, but you got 4 teams ahead of you, and the odds of all 4 of them dropping with 2 games left is very, very slim. So I think going into this road trip, last one leading up before conference play, they got CSUN, and then they got the tough one at Santa Barbara. So the main thing is they gotta avoid that first round playing, you could say playing game between the 7 and 10 seeds. So I think with one win out of the two, they for sure control their own destiny. They won't play in that first round game. So hopefully we just do that against CSUN, take the stress off. But yeah, it's a pretty outside shot. But I think in these last two games, I just want to see them play complete games of basketball because at the end of the day, they're going to have to win 3 games in the Big West tournament to go to the big dance. And I don't know. I was really, really confident in the beginning, and I'm kind of losing a little bit of faith right now. But with a 2-0 road trip, maybe I might hop on the bandwagon.
At
But
least we still have a chance, you know.
we see the thing about UH is they can beat anybody in the conference, but they're capable of losing to anyone in the conference, and that's the thing that's frustrating. So which UH team are you gonna get come tournament time? That's really the key. Because they're good enough to win it, but they're good enough to go one and done, like they have been for recent years. So it's coming down to crunch time. So I don't know, Ganat. You better get your boys ready to play. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, I'll be checking in this week. Got big games coming up. So, yeah, let's go Bows. Okay, well, let's transition away from that. Spring training in the MLB is now upon us, Matt.
Yes,
And it
baseball season
is,
is back.
yep, baseball season is back and probably going to be one of the most interesting regular seasons we have seen in a long time with the new rule changes. So, just to sum up, pretty much there's a couple big rule changes here. One being the elimination of the shift, right? So the infield can no longer stack more than 2 players on one side of second base. And do they have to remain? I believe they have to remain on the dirt as well, right? So they can't be sneaking into the
So
outfield. So that'll be an interesting change. Going to see a lot more hits. Average is going to go up, I would assume, right? And then the big one. So the pitch clock, which in my opinion is going to change the way baseball is forever. I think the game is going to be completely different now. There's so many facets to this rule change and so many impacts that it has. Let's just start off first with the pitchers, right? So, you know, pitchers are told they can take as much time as they need in between pitches, more or less, right? Kind of how you have time to compose yourself after every pitch, get into a right frame of mind, and then go. They don't have that luxury anymore, right? So after they make a pitch, good or bad, no time to reflect, no time to really think about what just happened. You're looking in more or less looking for the next pitch coming up, and you got to go, right? Then on the batter side, kind of same thing. After a tough pitch, something maybe you don't like, something that caught you off guard, no time to step out of the box, recompose yourself that much. It's got to be right back in. So pace of play, I believe the games are averaging about 2.5 hours now
2.5 hours. That's insane.
compared to what it's usually 3.5, something like that. So pace of play really, really speeding up now. Um, I guess it's yet to be seen who it's gonna benefit more with the pitch clock. I think it's gotta benefit the hitters a little bit more, right? Because pitching is so difficult, right? But yeah, the hitters now there's like a constant rhythm you can kind of be in. It's like, okay, you threw me this, what's coming next? And you don't really have time to overthink stuff. What's gonna happen now? And I think it's just a little bit more of a rhythm. Like it's kind of when you're in the batting cage, right? You're hitting constant rhythm you got going on. You're not waiting too long in between pitches. And the pitcher can't freeze you anymore. That's a big thing too, right? Um, can't just they can't just hold the ball, let you get uncomfortable. They have to go now. So the batters are always ready to hit. Now it's gonna be, I think slightly in their favor. But I know it's been talked about a little bit, but I was thinking about how is this going to affect base runners now? So to me, the base runner has the biggest advantage. Um, Pretty much out of the three, pitchers, batters, base runners, I think we're gonna see the most stolen bases in the league than we've seen in a long, long time. Stolen base is kind of, I don't want to
It's
say
a
an
lost art
irrelevant.
in a
Yeah,
way.
it is a lost art. Especially now, everyone with the analytics, we don't care about base hits anymore. We want home runs. We want extra base hits, right? But now I think the stolen base is gonna come more prevalent than it has been. And the reason I say that, Matt, I don't know, I'm gonna assume you've been thinking the same way, but now that the pitchers have a pitch clock, makes it that much easier for runners to anticipate when the ball's coming
Yep,
out, right?
exactly.
So if a pitcher, hasn't adjusted yet, and to me, if I'm a pitcher, the best way to keep guys, I guess, kind of off with their timing is you can't be pitching with like 5 seconds left in the pitch clock every single time, right? You let that clock run down. Every second that runs down gives the batter that much more of an advantage of when they can anticipate running, right? Um, and so with that, now it's always kind of been a get. That's kind of the whole art, right? It's kind of you try to time up the pitcher once you're gonna throw it, but now there's literally there you can see the time that he has to throw it. Um, and so yeah, I think we're gonna see like 40, 50 stolen bases this year. Uh,
Trey
I,
Turner might get 60.
he might get 60. It's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna see an offensive explosion this year in the MLB. Um, Averages will be going up. All these pull hitters, power pull hitters that have been getting robbed for the past several years due to the shift. That's gone now. Man, it's gonna be I me, I've said it on the pod the past couple years. Don't really watch the regular season too much. But with how many rule changes there are, I mean, I'll be tuned in early and often, um, just to see kind of how it affects the game now. So I don't know, Matt.
I think
What is your take on all this?
it's pretty much the same, but I want to go to the point about the base runners. So you already touched on the fact that base runners, you can time your jump now, right? Pitchers, in a way, you have 10 seconds to, it's a 20-second clock, but you got like 10 seconds to like get ready and you're on the rubber, ready to deliver your pitch. So you can definitely anticipate something within 10 seconds to me once you figure out the pitcher's rhythm. But what's also important is another rule change this year is pitchers can only throw over to first or to a base twice.
Yeah,
So you can't just keep picking guys off, trying to, tire their legs out. You got to be smart when you really want to throw it over because if you throw it over twice, the guy's gonna just, I mean, I don't even know what you do at that
yeah.
point.
It's
Just give
I
him
don't want to say it's a free bag, but even
it.
on a
It it,
pitch
it
out,
is a
right?
free bag.
It'd be pretty tough.
I
I don't
mean, you
know.
can take your lead maybe about a third of the way
Right?
down the second.
That's another, yeah, that's a great point. Like, is it pretty much once the pitcher gets the ball, I can just take off going, right? And the pitcher better be ready to throw? Like
Basically.
that, yeah. Uh we'll have to see because I I yeah, it's
I don't
gonna
know what Vegas is gonna say with Trey Turner's odds for stolen bases, but I don't know. 60, he might have a shot.
he might have a shot and contact hitter. Um I think he'll have a lot of base hit. I mean, he was at the top of the league in just total hits, right? So if he keeps that average and he's on the bases, yeah, good luck pitchers. um I don't know, Matt. I think do you think it's good for do you think this is good for the game of baseball moving forward? Um my initial thoughts are I don't want to say it's bad for the game, but I think it takes a lot of the nuances out and the small mental things that a lot of diehard baseball guys like us, um, seem to love about the game, or the little advantages you can take come playoff time. It's just I don't know how I'm gonna react to it. I think I'm gonna need to see the product live, see how it's gonna be because yeah, if these rules stay for the rest of the time on a game that's so rooted in tradition, we'll have to see because I know a lot of guys are not happy about it so far. Um I think it's split pretty much 50-50. Like half of them are kind of excited because what it will bring to an entertainment value to casual fans across the league or across the world really, but the kind of I don't want to say old heads but uh traditional enjoyers are going to be upset about it. I don't know.
I think my initial reaction is I understand the pitch clock and trying to speed up the game, but I just think the amount of time that they're giving both the pitcher and the batter to get set, it's a little too quick to me. Like there's no time to think or like just mentally get right. Like I'm sorry, like as a hitter, like just basic 101. I gotta look at the coach and what if they're trying to do a hit and run or some kind of play? Like they got to do all that in 10 seconds plus get ready, get your routine in the box, clean the plate. Like, you're gonna have a divot after a swing. So you're gonna, clean the box a little bit how you want it.
You gotta
Like
do it
just these little
fast
things.
now.
It's gotta be fast, but I just think it's 20 seconds, but it's really you have 10 seconds on each side to get ready. So it's hard to me. And I'm not a fan of that. Maybe increasing, maybe 20 seconds is okay. 40-second pitch clock. But I just think 20 seconds is just way too quick. And think about it. If it's in the postseason, like in a high leverage game, like you don't want guys rushing. That's
And
gonna just
that's what builds
kill the
all the
game.
drama of the moment too,
Yeah,
right? That was the biggest thing I was thinking about as well. Like
exactly.
playoff time, like when you have those nerves in your stomach, it's like, oh man, like they're deciding, oh, what's the pitch gonna be? Oh, here we go, boom. Okay, man, now they're thinking this, what but now it's like the game just gonna be so sped up. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like you don't have time for that drama and suspense to
Yeah.
build up between each pitch. So
And as a fan, I like that. I mean, I hate it in the same time if it's the Yankees, but I want the suspense. I want the, excitement of the game to build up. And I just think the pitch clock is a little too quick. But
yeah.
also for me, I'm a defensive guy. So I like baseball games that are low scoring, 2-1, 3-2,
Oh
games that are
no,
hard to get runs.
we're not seeing those anymore. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
I know. So
four to
I'm a
six.
guy who is not a fan of banning the shift to me. Because I'm saying from a hitter, if they shift you, they're giving you a whole side of the
I
field to get a
still
free
don't
hit.
understand
And I
the
don't
shift.
understand what the deal is with Joey Gallo, right? We both know him. Like, dude, just you can bunt. Like, we've seen you bunt. Lay it down. You can get a double with your speed. It's a free double. And if you keep doing that, then they're not going to shift you. And then you can hit you pull it down the line and hit it over the fence. Like they're giving you free hits. Take it. But now it's straight up, right? So guys are just gonna be getting back to their old habits and trying to pull everything. Like,
And
no,
that's gonna
I
change
like
like the
the
whole.
I like the small ball. I like the contact in the game of baseball.
Well, sorry, bud. I think those days might be over, and who knows? Even like the next generation of baseball, might be taught completely different now. Just wherever your strong side is, that's where you hit the ball. um,
Hey, as long as they don't have a pitch clock in OBL.
yeah. Oh God, please no. Um, our games are we already have time limits, so it doesn't really matter.
True.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting season for sure. But let's wrap up our other talk, our sports talk. Quick NFL news here. So the first one, Bobby Wagner got released by the Rams. little bit of a shocker because they signed him to a pretty big contract. Don't know how that one's gonna turn out, but I'm sure there are hungry, greedy Cowboy fans out there.
Hey, Bobby, we got a place for you in Dallas set up. I think you should take that.
What's your pitch, Matt? You gotta give me. If you're Jerry, what's the pitch to Bobby?
Well, who wouldn't want to play with Micah Parsons
I guess so.
and Trayvon Diggs? Like you have got, it's kind of like the Rams, right? That's your pitch. You got a dominant lineman, Micah Parsons, who can also play linebacker, and you got a all-pro corner in Trayvon Diggs. So Wagner is that missing piece in the middle of the defense, right?
He can
He
be the
he
brain of that defense easily.
and it's perfect. It's like you can reunite with your old boy, Dan Quinn. That was your guy that brought you up and made you who you are. Time to come home.
All right.
And you get to wear the star. And there's no tax in Dallas,
Yeah, I
no
was
state
gonna say
tax.
no state
So
tax
you
in
get the
Dallas.
bag.
That's true. That'll be one to look out for. And I guess since everyone's getting cut now,
This is a sad
looks
one for me.
looks
I
like
need a moment of silence.
the Commanders will be moving forward with Sam Howell, at least for now, because Carson Wentz was released by the Commanders. So a moment of
No.
silence for the other three NFC East teams banking on Carson Wentz throwing to them. Unfortunately, that will not be the case this year, but gonna be interesting to see where he lands up. I can't imagine it's a starting role at this point. This was kind of one of his last chances, I would think. But you never know. Someone might want to take a gamble. His physical tools are still there, but I think we've seen pretty consistently what Carson Wentz brings to the table.
You know where he should go? So there's a guy in New York that wants 45 million. I don't know. That's a pretty steep price to me. So if they want to get a guy on a bargain deal, maybe he should go to the Giants. Playoff team, get
What
an
if Brian Dable
experienced
turns
quarterback.
him into Josh Allen 2.0?
Well, then shame on me for pitching this idea.
That's the only thing you got to
Hey,
keep in
but
mind.
then, but maybe this might work out because we can rebuild. We can get rid of Dak, and
So you,
then everything will be good in Cowboy Land.
okay, well, I don't know about that one. Yeah, gonna be interesting to see where he ends up. Before we end the pod though, I don't think did we talk about the Netflix documentary coming out last week? I don't think we had a chance to, right?
No, we didn't.
It was released during the
This
week,
is
so
huge.
gonna be an interesting summer for football fans because for the first time we are gonna get to see uh a documentary follow players throughout the season really in depth, like not only um on the field but at home too. And I know Hard Knocks in season does this. Amazon Prime had their All or Nothing, but Netflix has kind of been killing the game with some of the documentaries recently, especially the sports documentaries. I haven't watched the F1 docu series yet, but I think it's like Formula One or Drive to.
Yeah, I haven't
I don't
watched
know.
that.
I know it gets great reviews. I just haven't made it around to that, but that's one of their most popular docu series. And then they just had one that followed golf, right? I don't know if you watched the Full Swing one. I thought it was really good. Followed the PGA Tour pros and the whole live golf stuff the past season, and I thought that was really good. So now they will be following three quarterbacks, or they followed three quarterbacks from the past season. So we have one, the Super Bowl champ, Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, who was in two of the probably the wildest games of the year. So that'll be really interesting to see, right? The Buffalo one, then you got the 33-point comeback. And we have who would have guessed the third quarterback, our boy Marcus Mariota. Uh yeah, I am obviously as a Marcus fan will be dying to see this documentary
Yeah,
because
I think so.
we don't get a lot from him. We get the post game interviews, the quick spots he does in interviews on occasion, but you don't really get to know what he's like in his personal life. This is really the first time we're gonna get to see that. I don't know if Netflix decided to do like, hey, we want a Super Bowl champ, a guy that's like kind of mid-level tier quarterback, and then guy that was on a losing team in Marcus. I don't know what the whole story is, but I'm really interested to see Marcus's side because he was getting a lot of hate from reporters and you know not only because of what happened throughout the season, but when he decided to go on IR, a lot of these articles are coming out saying, "Oh, he's abandoning his team. How could he do that? That's so unprofessional of him. Just gonna make it so much harder. He's not a good guy." I don't think that's the case, but I'm really excited to watch this docuseries. I'm gonna be tuned in. So
Yeah, I'll watch every
I'm gonna
episode
watch
of
every episode. If they
every
do it
episode, every
weekly,
second.
yeah, if they do it weekly, I'll watch the moment it's released every week.
We
I don't
might
know.
we might have to talk about each episode on the pod,
Yeah,
every
honestly,
week.
it's gonna be like the Last Dance. Remember when no one had anything to talk about during
Yep.
COVID, but the Last Dance? So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Um, just gotta watch Jackson Mahomes though, and Patty's wife.
Oh, jeez.
That'll be interesting. Anyway, Matt, it's been a good pod. Why don't you wrap us up here in our usual fashion with our sports fact of the day?
All right, we got a good one today. So, February 27th in 2016, one of the greatest Mike Breen calls in the NBA with the double bang. Steph Curry hit one of the most iconic threes against OKC to win the game in a very highly anticipated matchup. And he got the double bang by Mike Breen. That's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you know that's legendary stuff from Steph Curry.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think you're hoping for a little bit more of that these playoffs if you want that Warriors finals. So
I hope so.
all right. Well, on that note, it was a good pod with Logan. We'll be talking a lot more basketball and baseball in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.